What's up everybody, it's me Jordan, and I'm back with another inking video. I just want to say a couple of things before we get on with the drawing, so just bear with me, I'll only be a second. First off, I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. I'm recording this on the Saturday, so hopefully I get it up in time. I'm really trying to get these Tuesday videos still happening, but we'll see what happens. If you're watching on Tuesday, I did it, so give me a thumbs up. We finally did it, guys. We hit 100k subscribers on this channel, which is crazy. 100k feels like a really big milestone. Adding that extra zero on there, it's going to be a while before we get another one of them. So thank you guys so much for the support. You guys have been sending so many nice comments. I feel guilty that I take so long to reply to people, and sometimes I can't reply to everyone. I really feel bad about that, but at the same time, I feel so happy that so many people enjoy the content that I'm making. I put a lot of passion into it, and I'm glad that shows, and I'm glad you guys appreciate that. It really means a lot to me. So I'm doing that Q&A video, which I talked about for a long time. It's gonna actually happen this time, all right? So I've posted a picture on my Instagram. You can leave your questions there. I posted it yesterday. Well, I'm recording this on Saturday, so I posted it on the Friday, and it's already got like 400 comments on it, so there's lots of questions. I won't be able to answer everything in the one video, but I thought I'd let you guys know on my YouTube channel who might not have seen that, so definitely follow me on Instagram and leave a question if you want. You can ask some weird stuff, or there's a lot of similar questions on there, so maybe ask something different if you want to get featured in the video, but ask whatever you want. It's your choice. I'll choose some of the interesting stuff and I'll work on that video. So it's coming, but let's get on with this drawing and I'll catch you guys in the commentary. Alright, we are back. I'm actually recording this commentary on a different day from the intro. I had a lot of energy in the intro, and today I am pretty tired, so excuse me if I sound uninterested. When I'm tired, I just sound like I'm really bored, even though I'm not. I just feel like sleeping. I think we all have those days. I thought I'd just go with it. I wanted to get this Tuesday video out. I'm recording this on the Monday, so I didn't want to pretend to be all hypo when I'm not. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video anyway, and let's get right on with it. First off, I just want to say I am using the Copic Drawing Pen, which I predominantly use. I also use Copic Multiliners. They're also a good option as well. I get a lot of people asking me, mainly because the Copic Drawing Pen looks like it's some fancy pen. It's basically just a steel nib pen, but you don't need to dip it. It's got cartridges in the back. This model has been discontinued, but there are different models similar, so you can probably just buy one of them if you want to try it out for yourself. But Copic Multiliners are also really good. I like them a lot. I think they're a really good beginner-friendly pen. They're pretty cheap. You can get some different versions of them. There's the standard, which are disposable, and then there's the SP, I think it is, and you can get refill cartridges for them as well. But they're really good quality pens. They work well with Kopeeks, so that's generally what I recommend to people who ask me. If any of you guys are curious about the art supplies that I use, check out the video description. I have a list of all the supplies I use on a regular basis, so you can just refer to that and see what I like using. I get a bunch of people asking me, does this paper work well, or are these good? I don't really know. Honestly, I haven't really tried many different papers out or different brands. I'm one of those people who, when I find something that I like and that works well for me, I don't really like trying out different things. That can be bad, but if something's working really well for me and I'm used to it, I kind of just like to stick with it. I'm sure there's plenty of better papers out there, but I'm pretty happy with the setup that I've got. The supplies that I use, they work pretty well together, and I still feel like I can improve on my drawings with the supplies that I'm using. I think it's really easy to jump between different art supplies, thinking that that's going to help you, and thinking that your drawings aren't the best because of your supplies, but in reality, it takes a long time to master the supplies that you do have. So sometimes limiting yourself to a certain amount of supplies is actually beneficial to you as an artist, and you can kind of maximize your use of each supply that you have. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I definitely don't recommend to people who are buying Kopeeks to buy heaps at once because it's way too overwhelming having all these different colors. I recommend starting out with a smaller set, and then you really get used to each color by itself and how it works well with different colors. And then when you expand your set, it's less daunting. You kind of already know what you're doing and what you can do with each color. And I think that's a really good way to progress as an artist. You don't just jump in the deep end straight away. Start out small, master each color as much as you can, or just get used to them and then expand from there. I get people asking, what Copic set should I get? There's a bunch of 72 marker sets, there's just heaps of them, and it's really hard for me to recommend a good set because, completely honestly, with the 72 sets, you kind of buy it because you think it's better value because you'll be saving money on markers, and technically you are. But in a 72 set, there is going to be a bunch of colors you never use. In all of the 72 sets, there's always a bunch you don't use. And it's almost better value to just buy individual markers and buy the ones that you know you're going to use and build your set like that. But then that's also hard because until you have some markers, you don't really know which colors are going to be good. So it's just one of those things which you just have to jump in, buy some, and then figure out what colors you personally like using. Probably get one of the smaller sets, like an 18 set. I think there's one called the Manga set, which was pretty good. A really good place to start out. It's not too expensive. The colors blend well together, and it's got some nice skin tones, and then a bunch of other colors which all work pretty well together. So I think that's a really good place to start out from. Then you can add to your collection by buying individual markers when you realize which colors you're missing. And then after that, you just have to buy refills. So Copics seem really expensive, and they are at first when you buy them. But once you start getting refills for them, it's definitely a lot cheaper. It's just building your collection, which is the hard part. Maybe you'll have to sell one of your kidneys on the black market to help out with that. You gotta do what you gotta do. It was worth it. Don't actually do that. If you can't afford Copics, don't worry about it. Just wait. Maybe get some Prismacolor pencils instead. They're a lot cheaper and they're still really awesome and nice to work with. I definitely recommend them, and I still use them to this day in conjunction with my Copics, of course. I think that's enough talk about art supplies. Let's have a chat about this drawing. I've already done a bunch of the colouring for this piece, and it's coming along really nicely. This is one of those drawings which looks pretty bad in the inking stage. I am well aware of that. It was just kind of how I did the inking. There's a lot of really thin lines, and it just doesn't really stand up very well by itself, just the inking, but it's not really supposed to. This is all just a setup for when I colour it. And seeing as I've been doing some more realistic styled drawings, I'm kind of doing air quotes there because it's obviously not realistic, but just in the way that I colour things, it's not so much a traditional anime style of colouring that I'm doing. I'm using some pretty thin lines. A lot of the detail gets put in with the colouring. So all the shading around the eyes, which will give it more depth and make it look more 3D in a way. That all comes in with the colouring. So just bear in mind the inking stage for a lot of these drawings that I'm working on kind of going forward don't always look the best, but you've just got to have a broader picture of how it's going to turn out in your mind So when you go in with colouring, it's actually going to look better. Because I could definitely put a lot more detail in with the line work, but I think that would actually make it look worse when I colour it, because it just wouldn't have the same effect that I'm going for. I want that detail to be put in the colouring stages. So definitely check out my Instagram, I'll be posting progress photos of that. I think it's coming along really nicely, it looks really creepy and disturbing. Crazy demon babies are really terrifying. Babies just by themselves are terrifying, let alone babies with horns and Satan eyes. That's just a recipe for nope. Please, I do not want a child. Anyway, that is about it for this drawing video. I'm sorry it's been really low energy. I feel like every video on YouTube nowadays seems to have someone shouting in it to hold people's attention, because that's what we have to do, because people get bored so easily. Anyway, that is about it for this video. This Friday's video is going to be the creepypasta about the killer clown, which I worked on a while back, and I think it's really cool, so stick around for that. I hope you all had an awesome Thanksgiving. I'm Australian, so we don't celebrate that over here, but I got a bunch of people messaging me on Instagram, wishing me a happy Thanksgiving, so I feel like I should say it back, even though I don't know what it's really about, apart from eating a turkey or something, and I like turkey, so it sounds good to me. Make sure to check me out on Instagram. You can ask your questions on that photo I mentioned at the start of the video, and also just see progress photos of my artwork early before I post the videos on YouTube, so definitely have a look at that. If for some strange reason you actually enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, that'd be awesome. And like always, I will catch you guys next week in next week's drawing video. I'm too old for this shit. It was as if it was floating. It made no noise, and the only movement seen was the creature lunging forward. It was graceful, yet terrifying. My eyes grew as I watched it skim over a frozen lake and back into the trees.